The autumn harvest is finally complete. The garden has given everything it had to give. The last potatoes have been dug. The carrots are washed clean. The onions hang in neat bundles by the back door. Apples fill wooden crates along the kitchen wall. For a moment, it feels as though the whole winter has already been provided for. Then, almost without noticing it, Christmas comes and goes. One morning, you reach into the apple crate. One apple gives slightly beneath your thumb. You turn it over in your hand. A bruise has spread beneath the skin. You throw it away. You tell yourself it is only one apple. A week later, another follows, then two more. Soon the smell changes. Instead of fresh apples, the room carries that faint sour sweetness that tells you something is beginning to spoil. The potatoes do not look much better. Tiny white sprouts appear where there were none before. The onions begin to soften at the neck. The carrots bend instead of snapping clean in half. So you do what most people do. You move one basket into the garage. Another goes into the basement. You wrap a few vegetables in newspaper. You search online for another storage trick. Nothing seems to stop the slow march of winter. Every week, another handful disappears. Not because anyone ate it, because winter claimed it first. By February, nearly a third of what you worked so hard to grow is gone. Hours of planting, weeks of watering, months of weeding, quietly turning into compost. So you tell yourself the answer must be a bigger freezer, a second refrigerator, more plastic containers. Surely there has to be a better way. Then you discover something that doesn't seem possible. But there are Amish farmhouses where vegetables, apples, squash, cabbage, and potatoes stay fresh all winter, without a freezer, without electricity, and without wasting half the harvest. The difference is not better luck. It is not a secret building. It is not expensive equipment. It is 3 old skills that most families simply stopped passing down. You are about to throw away the best winter harvest you will ever own for want of 3 things nobody taught you. Long before electric freezers became part of everyday life, nearly every Amish farm had something far more valuable beneath the house. A root cellar. Not bought, not installed, built by hand, stone by stone, covered by earth so the ground itself kept the temperature steady through every season. For generations, those cellars quietly carried families from one harvest to the next. Grandmothers filled them with potatoes, carrots, apples, onions, cabbage, and squash. Parents taught their children which shelf stayed coolest, which corner stayed driest, and why apples were never stored beside potatoes. The knowledge was never written in a manual. It never came with instructions. It was simply passed from one generation to the next. And in the corner of many Amish kitchens sat another family heirloom, a heavy stoneware crock. Its rim chipped from decades of use, its sides stained by countless batches of sauerkraut, pickled beans, and fermented vegetables. Beside it hung recipes that were never measured with modern precision because they had already been proven by time. Nothing about these tools was disposable. Nothing depended on electricity. Nothing needed replacing every few years. A modern freezer may last a decade before something fails. A well-built root cellar and the knowledge to use it can serve a family for generations. That is the wisdom we preserve here at Hidden Amish Wisdom, because the greatest inheritance was never the cellar itself. It was knowing exactly how to use it. Let me begin with the secret that matters most. If you misunderstand this one, the other 2 will not help you. Most people believe food spoils because they do not own a good enough refrigerator or freezer. That is almost never the real reason. Food spoils because the conditions around it allow harmful microbes to grow. The moment vegetables are picked or meat is prepared, naturally occurring bacteria, molds, and yeasts are already present. That sounds alarming. It should not. Most of them remain harmless unless they are given exactly what they need: warmth, moisture, and the right environment to multiply. A freezer does not destroy those microbes. It simply slows them down. The countdown pauses. It does not end. The Amish relied on a different way of thinking. Instead of depending on one machine, They change the conditions the microbes depended on. Salt draws moisture from meat, leaving far less water available for harmful bacteria. A cool root cellar keeps vegetables at a naturally stable temperature without electricity, slowing the processes that lead to spoilage. Fermentation transforms fresh vegetables into an acidic food where beneficial bacteria thrive, making it difficult for harmful microbes to take hold. 3 different methods. 1 simple principle. Do not fight nature. Change the environment. That is the reversal most people never learn. The goal was never to make food colder. It was to make food a place where spoilage could no longer flourish. Everything else in this video grows from that single idea. I would make 1 structural improvement to this section. Now let me show you exactly how these 3 methods work. Not in theory, in practice. First, salt and smoke. Take a fresh cut of meat and weigh it. Rub salt over every surface, pressing it gently into every fold and edge. Then place it somewhere cool. Not frozen, just cool and steady. Within a few days, you will feel the surface becoming firmer beneath your fingers. That is the salt drawing moisture away, making life much harder for harmful bacteria. Once the meat has cured, hang it in clean wood smoke. You will see the outside slowly darken. You will smell the rich, smoky aroma replacing the scent of fresh meat. Next, the root cellar. Step inside. You will feel the temperature change almost immediately. Cool, still, steady, even when the weather outside cannot make up its mind. Place potatoes in 1 basket. Store apples well away from them. Pack carrots and beets in slightly damp sand. Weeks later, you will lift them out and find they are still firm, crisp, and full of life. Finally, fermentation. Pack shredded cabbage tightly into a stoneware crock with salt. Press it down until the vegetables sit beneath their own brine. Leave it undisturbed. Within a few days, you will hear a faint bubbling. You will see the brine become cloudy. That is not spoilage. It is the beneficial bacteria transforming fresh cabbage into a naturally preserved food that harmful microbes struggle to survive in. 3 methods, 3 different traditions, 1 simple purpose. Keep food fresh by working with nature instead of fighting against it. The second secret is not about skill, it is about patience. In fact, this is a secret of nerve more than of skill. Most people do not lose their food because they forgot a step. They lose it because they cannot leave it alone. The meat has only been curing for 3 days. You wonder if it is ready. The crock has been quietly bubbling for a week. You are tempted to lift the lid and have a look. That is exactly where many beginners go wrong. Salt needs time to work its way into the meat. Fermentation needs time for the beneficial bacteria to take control. Neither process can be rushed. An old Amish saying goes, "The harvest has already done the growing, now let time do the preserving." A small cut of meat may be ready in a matter of days. A whole ham can take weeks, sometimes even months. A crock of sauerkraut often sits untouched for 2 to 4 weeks before it reaches its best flavor. Nothing appears to be happening. But beneath the surface, everything is happening. The salt is protecting the meat. The beneficial bacteria are building a naturally acidic environment. The food is becoming safer with every passing day. Trust the process. Resist the urge to keep checking. Sometimes, the wisest thing you can do is close the cellar door, walk away, and allow nature to finish the work it has already begun. That quiet patience, more than any special talent, is what has carried Amish harvests safely through countless winters. The third secret begins after the harvest has been stored. Most people think the work is finished. The Amish knew it was only beginning. Every tool that preserves food also needs to be cared for. That simple habit is why these methods lasted for generations. Start with the root cellar. Every week or 2, choose a cool, dry day and open the vent for a short while. You will feel fresh air move slowly through the room. That gentle airflow carries away excess moisture before it settles on the walls. The earth keeps the cellar cool. Your job is simply to keep the air fresh. Now turn to the stoneware crock. When the last of the sauerkraut or pickled vegetables has been used, rinse the crock with hot water. Nothing more. Leave the soap on the shelf. Even a small amount of soap residue can interfere with the next fermentation. Let the crock dry completely before storing it away. Finally, the smokehouse. Before another season begins, clear away the old ash and check that the flue is open. A clean draft keeps the smoke moving gently around the meat, instead of trapping excess heat inside. None of these jobs take very long. A few minutes here, half an hour there, but together they become a family ritual. One season prepares the next. That is why an Amish root cellar, a stoneware crock, and a smokehouse can serve one generation after another. The tools endure because someone cared for them long after the harvest was over. Now step back for a moment. This is bigger than food storage. It is about the difference between owning a product and owning a skill. There is nothing wrong with a freezer. For many families, it is a useful tool. But think about how our modern system works. A freezer is built to be manufactured, sold, repaired, eventually replaced. Every part of that cycle supports an industry, the appliance, the replacement parts, the electricity that keeps it running every hour of every day. A root cellar works differently. Once it has been built, it may serve a family for generations. A stoneware crock does not need software updates. A smokehouse does not stop working because a compressor failed. And the knowledge behind them costs nothing to pass on. That is why these old skills slowly faded from everyday life, not because they stopped working, but because modern life became built around buying solutions instead of inheriting them. A freezer that wears out can be sold again. A root cellar that outlives its builder cannot. A machine creates another customer. A family skill creates another teacher. That is the difference. The greatest value was never the cellar, it was the knowledge that came with it. Once that knowledge is passed to the next generation, no company needs to sell it to them ever again. And perhaps that is the oldest Amish lesson of all. So there it is. 3 old methods, 1 simple principle. Do not depend on a machine alone. Work with the way nature already preserves food. Salt where moisture must be removed. Store where the earth keeps temperatures steady. Ferment where beneficial bacteria can do the work for you. These were never considered remarkable in Amish communities. They were simply part of everyday life. The real inheritance was never the root cellar. It was never the stoneware crock. It was never the smokehouse. The greatest inheritance was the knowledge. A child who learns these skills today can still use them 50 years from now. And one day, they may pass them to someone else. That is how wisdom survives. Not because it is written in books, because someone chooses to teach it before it is forgotten. Now I'd love to hear from you. Did your parents or grandparents have a root cellar, a smokehouse, a spring house, or another traditional way of preserving food? What is one old family method you still remember today? Share your story in the comments. Some of the best ideas in this community come from families who have quietly kept these traditions alive for generations. And if you enjoyed uncovering this forgotten Amish wisdom, you'll want to watch the next video, where we explore another traditional skill that helped Amish families live well long before modern conveniences became part of everyday life. Until then, remember this: the strongest food preservation tool was never a freezer. It was knowledge that could be passed from one generation to the next.